Good morning, my beautiful woman, and welcome to a Lingerie and Lattes episode. I want to discuss something related to how we can tap in to feeling more natural in the feminine self, because I know this was a learning curve for myself, honestly, personally. It's not easy to be vulnerable, soft spoken, and also assertive, successful. Most of the times, the qualities that we associate with being a woman has to relate to something that is not vicious, not dangerous, something that's extremely safe and welcoming. However, if we think about success, a lot of the times there's challenges, there's competition, there's some sort of pedal to the metal. So the style of femininity sometimes can feel foreign to us when we want to tap into her, especially when we want to feel more intimate with our male partner. That can't necessarily be turned on by a switch. So my intention for this practice today and what we're going to be talking about is for you to find ways to weave in femininity into the normal experiences that you have, but to make this feel safe. So let me describe what I'm talking about. Let's say you're a very high business powered woman, and you are always on the top of your game, always dressed up very well, have to speak in a very professional manner, and so forth. So I want to bring in this idea of gentleness. And immediately you can kind of discard that idea. There's no way that gentleness plays into this picture. However, I am going to challenge us to say, how can you influence your existence, your reality, with the natural feminine self? So in that specific example, let me show you how gentleness can come through. First of all, it could be in the tone of your voice. There is so much power in never raising your voice, keeping it level, and even almost hush sometimes, that can have people almost lean in, like, what are you saying? It doesn't have to be external, obnoxious, in a screaming tantrum manner that many of us might be used to. I know I'm personally used to screaming tantrums. That's how I grew up. And that's unfortunately what I've brought into my own relationships. So this is a learning curve, but we can use a softer tone when we are conveying messages. Gentleness can be brought through in the clothing. Even though you're in a power suit, maybe instead of big, large silver hoops, which is beautiful and can also be a vibe on its own, but if now you want to bring in gentleness specifically, then perhaps you want to put in delicate gold earrings or something a little bit more, what's the word? It's muted, it's subtle. So that's how you can dress in gentleness. That's how you can speak in gentleness. Another idea of how to be gentle is, let's say, in your approach to providing feedback for fellow colleagues. Maybe a lot of the times you just are, I know I am proud of the fact that I'm very blunt and I'm just direct when it comes to a situation. But a lot of the times that can come off quite harsh to another receiver. So my gentleness might want to come through by me saying, okay, how can I present my idea in a manner that is more approachable, perhaps more, instead of, here I am with all my thoughts and ideas and opinions and comments, why don't I just take a step back? Gentleness would be leading with one comment and idea and perhaps letting it sit with the receiver and then testing the waters. So let me give a more specific example. If we're talking about bringing gentleness into interactions with your colleagues, your husband, your boyfriend, partner, whoever. So we can think through, let's say you are fired up about, I don't know, moving the couch this weekend, and you want to make sure that it's done after you have your workout in the morning. Okay, totally thought up a scenario, but potentially, possible and also applicable to other scenarios. Let's say we have that. And instead of it's Wednesday morning, instead of just running up to your significant other or whoever you're living with and etc., you this would be a non-gentle way, and probably my natural tendency would just be to store them up on a Wednesday morning and be like, we have the couch moving on Saturday, but I don't know if we can make this happen because I'm nervous that I can't make it to my workout in the morning, etc. So you're kind of coming in fully charged. The idea of gentleness in there would be to lead with one comment. So leading with a comment would be, I would focus on the couch because that's my that is linked to the issue I want to address. I wouldn't just talk about fitness in general or like, oh, how working out's really important to me. I wouldn't focus on that because that's not, it is the most important thing in my conversation with my partner. But to them, the most important vital piece of information is actually regarding the couch because it gives them a date in mind for when you want a need to be met of yours. So I'm going to repeat that because that was really important. The most important thing for me in this example, in this hypothetical situation, is that I get my workout in on Saturday morning. The most important piece of information for my partner, for my receiver of this comment, is that this is related to the couch moving because that's going to happen on Saturday. And I'm bringing this up days ahead because I just want to make sure that my needs are met. So the best way to do a gentle approach might be, we have the couch moving this Saturday, and see how the person reacts. Perhaps they have forgotten that it's this Saturday. Perhaps they're like, yeah, I know, we have it at 2 p.m., whatever. But you can then bring in, right, however, something that was that's been strongly causing me a bit of tension is that I really want to get a workout in. And then you can discuss that and then obviously set some time up for yourself in that morning, and then be able to follow through on a commitment you've already made with your partner for the couch and the next responsibility. So these are 3 different examples that I just provided, that you can tie in the idea of gentleness to how you operate in your days, to how you operate in your life. And why do we want to do this, right? Because we think that gentleness might lead to some sort of a weakness. We might slip up and not get what we want. What I've noticed is that gentleness is it's a superpower, and it's not an overt one. Being gentle can take you further than coming in guns blazing can. Why? Because when you are coming in guns blazing, whoever is the receiver is going to feel taken aback. They're going to feel attacked or very strongly approached. When we invite gentleness into the way that we dress through our accessories or through a color instead of a bright red, again, this goes with your emotions as well. So naturally, let's say if you're feeling closer to your cycle, your moon cycle, and you're feeling fiery, you might want that intense color. But let's say you're not, you're more in the ovulation stage, which is more of that rumination. Maybe you'd like to be on the softer blues to calm, to just be in alignment with the nervous system that you are today. So gentleness doesn't have to be being soft-spoken in a manner that doesn't get you what you want. I hope that my examples have shared that it can actually be a better way to get what you desire, because again, you're not attacking the person. You're taking an approach that is saying, I know that you probably want what's best for me. I want what's best for me, and I want what's best for both of us, as you probably do. Now let's figure out the details so we can achieve that same goal. And when we want to see how this gentleness translates into romance, it could be quite simple to be affectionate with our partners and to really show appreciation in by using gentleness. So even putting your hand, just like lightly touching your fingertips on his shoulder or on the back, his shoulder blade. Just using gentleness perhaps would be preparing, I don't know, a nice tea setup for two for the evening and suggesting that you guys listen to his favorite music with dimmed lighting and just enjoy the tea, in your own thoughts or like with your journals or together, whatever matches your relationship better for an ideal night. But you can invite gentleness in these ways because when we soften as women, the men tend to follow. And when we when we harden, it sort of pushes us away from our partners because when we step more into our masculinity, there's no polarity, there's no tension. And without the tension, we don't feel the attraction. So when our partners see us be gentle, take us taking a very feminine approach, it's almost like this, ooh, yeah, what is she doing here? How can I step up more into my masculinity for my woman? These are qualified results that can come from us stepping more into our femininity. And I'm hoping that my experiences and everything I'm sharing here shows you that it doesn't have to be scary to be in your femininity. It can actually be a place of power. And we just haven't been taught how to do it. And that's why I've started this channel along with vulcanability, because the more we know about ourselves, the more we know about how to interact with men and how different we are in our ways from men, then we can actually build up a more harmonious relationship through that application of that knowledge. So with that being said, I do hope you've been able to check out the anatomy class in my vulcanability library. We go through the entire vulva, the different sections, the anatomical version of a clitoris, how to achieve the orgasm, and also different ways that we can apply sensual experiences to people that are turned on in different ways, which ties into the knowledge that I have thanks to Jaya and Ian from the blueprints, the erotic blueprints freedom course. All right, my ladies, thank you so much for being here with us, and we will chat next week. Have a magical day.